Hey everyone, we're just waiting for a couple more people to trickle in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. You should have also gotten an alert that is letting you know that we're recording this workshop just for other students or participants to access later on.
Welcome. We get started in a bit. So how's everyone doing? Thumbs up.
Hi. Thank you.
Hello.
I'm doing good. Hello.
Hello.
Excuse me, I have a question. Is it okay, on my screen, the name is Ayla Mafid. Actually, it's my daughter's name because sometimes I help her to log in her Zoom class. It's not my name. That is okay, yeah?
That's fine. That's fine. Not a
Yeah.
problem.
Thank you.
Students, family. Absolutely. Students, family, teachers, other teachers, other staff. Years ago, when I was teaching, someone would say, so who's the
Oh, Rania, I'm thinking we give it till 1:05 and then we can start.
So we're going to get started soon. We're just waiting for some of the people to register. So if you want to go and grab a glass of water or something to drink, just still have some time. So So I think we're gonna get started. Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? So today you are in the teacher pathway and opportunities at San Francisco State University, and we will try to answer all your questions in terms of what opportunities we have and we offer, and also how can how can you go about getting more information and applying to the teaching credential. So next, just to make sure we are part, we're very excited to be part of the Teach for the Bay. They're putting a great conference, and I've been looking through those workshops, and thank you for being here and joining us. So there's two presenters today, and we will have a guest presenter, and we will let you know. But before we get started with all the information and all this stuff that you probably want to hear and get more information about, I just want to go over some quick housekeeping. So we're going to mute everyone, so then there's less interruptions. Also, if you have a question, or if, please use the icon to raise your hand. and then we will get back to you. Also, we have, the chat. So if you think that you might forget a question or a comment, you can put it in the chat and then we will get back as well. And like always, any participant that is not following the rules, we will have them exit, or we will remove them, not have them exit. So this presentation will be recorded and available for other people that cannot join us today, but also for the Bay conference organizers. So with that, I'm gonna get started. I like to see all familiar faces and some new ones. So I will start with introductions. My name is Eurania Lopez. I'm the Director of Student Services, Resource Services in the Graduate College of Education. And my teammate and also the co-presenter is Kim Correa, and she is the undergraduate program advisor, and we play a lot of different roles as well, so we will tell you more about those in a second. But what is the Education Advising Community Hub and the services that we provide? So at San Francisco State, we have what we call TEACH. It's our hub for students who are looking into majoring in education, who need additional support in general education courses. Also, anything that has to do with academics. Hopefully, none of you will have to ever deal with academic provision, but if you do, we're there to help. And then also petitions. Sometimes you take classes at a community college that are identical, but somehow they're not in the system. So we can help you with those petitions, with, just walking you through the process of seeing what classes will fulfill the requirements. In addition, also career preparation and planning, like, how to get ready for a job interview, what kind of careers do you want to teach, different levels, or what does the job look like, and what districts are hiring. So we have a little bit of that. And then major career exploration, because many students might have something in mind, but then they decide that they want to change their majors. And then, so we talk about those as well. When you're ready to graduate, we sit down with you. We go over all the graduation checkpoints to just make sure that you don't have any surprises, that you have everything lined up to get your diploma. And then the teacher pathways. Teacher pathways in the sense of the different programs that we offer, that my coworker is going to talk about, like the ETAP, and also opportunities that you might benefit from, and the early field experience. Most of you have those done if you're an ECE student, but many times you decide to go into a different level. So we can talk about the early field experience and how do you do your hours and what the requirement really means and how you can fulfill it. Then we can talk to you, and we have a excellent resource which is called the Cahill Resource Lab. That is where you can find curriculum, resources, books, and also equipment that you can check out when you're ready to do your examinations or your presentations, and you need to do your exit requirements from the credentials. The Cahill Resource Lab is also open for study rooms, for study, and it provides a wide range of services as well as a computer lab. So next. So credentials overview. What is a credential program? If I'm going too fast, please let me know, let my coworker know. So Traditionally, a credential will be a 1 year after your bachelor. And or depending, we know that not everyone can just be a full-time student. So oftentimes they will take longer depending on your circumstances. You can do a 1 year program or you can split it up into 2 years. That is after, and then credentials are also granted after your bachelor or bachelorette or your BA or BS. And that's one of, if you want to teach in the state of California, if you want to teach in the state of California in the public school system, K to TK actually to 12, you will need a credential. So, and then usually the credential is 15 to 18 units, depending on how you're doing it, per semester. So plus 160 hours of student teaching. That's when you are actually in the classroom, not as a observer, but actually as a student teaching. Oftentimes that means your first semester you're supporting the teacher, and the second semester you are actually teaching. So types of credentials that we offer at San Francisco State, we have the multiple subject credential, and the multiple subject credential is for people who are interested in transitional kindergarten, elementary, and or any self-contained classrooms. We have the special education credential, and that's an early child. We have different categories. If you're interested in special education in early childhood and preschool, K to 12, or birth through 22 years of age, then depending on which one you're interested in, you can get your credential in special education with a specific emphasis. And then we also have the single subject credential. The ones that we offer at San Francisco State are art, English, math, music, physical education, social sciences, and world languages. So with the single subject, just to want to emphasize, that's for middle school and high school, but some of the credentials are allow you to teach K to 12. So for example, art is one of the credentials, physical education as well. So there are others. These are the ones that we offer at San Francisco State at this point. So next. So to start a teaching credential, I already said, you need to have a bachelor's. So, and then you also need to complete early field work hours. And your early field work hours cannot be, have to be within the 5 years. So if, if you were in a classroom many years ago and you already have experience, but you haven't done it within 5 years of the time that you're applying, that they will ask you to do your early field work hours. Your GPA, this change is different for every program, but for the most part, it's 2.67 GPA. And I believe I'm pretty sure special education credentials, they require a 3.0. Then you have to get letters of recommendation. So this is why you always go and talk to your instructors and make sure you stay in contact with them, because you never know when you're going to need those letters of recommendation. So for applying to San Francisco State's credential program, you will be needing 3 credentials. I mean, 3 letters of recommendation, not 3 credentials. Your live scan fingerprints and your background check. And even if you have done it for other classes, they will require to do it once you apply. Then your testing, we'll talk more about that, but the CBES or the waiver for the CBES, which is the California Basic Education Skills Test, you will need to have that pass. The test, it's usually it has basic math, basic writing, and what is unique with this test is that once you take it and you pass, you don't have to retake it. Once you take it, you're done with the CBES. However, there are different ways that you can fulfill the CBES requirement, and we'll talk more about that. Because if you took AP classes or your SATs or other ways, will help you fulfill the CBES requirement. Then the next test is what is known as the CSET, the California Subject Examination for Teachers. That is there's 3 subtests, and then you can take them all at once. You can take them separately, but you do need to have them all pass. And I believe Kim will talk about a little bit about what are some of the requirements with this test. If not, we will go and revisit this again. So next. So the San Francisco State University Credential Program. So again, these are specific to San Francisco State. Every school offers different programs, and oftentimes, students, like I always say, when you're applying for the credentials, at least one of the things should be very specific, and then it's like what level you want to teach. So there's the multiple subjects, like I said earlier, that will be transitional kindergarten, elementary, self-contained classrooms. And then for that credential, it's you will still need what I had mentioned before. You will still have to have an ABA, take the CSET, take the CBES, and do your early field work. You still will need 3 letters of recommendation, and you will still need your fingerprint and your live scan. So are there any questions so far? Let me double check. I'm going to take some time. Okay. So if you have any questions or concerns and you're afraid that you might forget, please write them down on our chat, and we will get back to you. Okay, so like I was saying before, these are some of the subjects that we have at San Francisco State. The single subject credential, which is again teaching middle school, high school, and some K to 12. But those are very specific. You can see the ones that indicate that are K to 12 credentials. Those are English, world languages, mathematics, music, physical education, science, and social sciences. So, and then the special education credential. So with the credentials, one of the with the credentials that we offer at San Francisco State, the application process will be similar, but there are some differences in times where you apply for them, and there's also a little bit of difference in terms of GPA. I know that the multiple subject requires a 2.67, and that's all cumulative, all the work that you have done at the time that you apply for a credential. And then single subject and special education, I believe is, I'm sure is 3.0. So I want to take some time to talk about the special education and because the special education credentials will allow you to teach preschool K to 12, and then but there are uh, different areas. So early childhood special education, extensive support needs, mild to moderate support needs, visual impairment, and orientation and mobility. And so within the special education credential, you will need to know specifically what population of students you would like to work. So next. Okay, so if you are applying within the next semester next year, I will highly suggest take a picture of this or write this information deadlines, because to get more information in detail about the application and when things are due, like remember I said that each department has its own um, requirements and deadlines. These are some of the ones that are coming up. So next week, if you want to learn more about the single subject credential, they will have a orientation or an information session. That is when you have an opportunity to talk to members of that department and get your answers directly. Get your responses for your questions. Um, in addition, I apologize. My doorbell just rang. Um, Kim, do you mind taking it from here?
Yeah, I can go ahead and take over. Cool. So yeah, so like Odoni was saying, we have a bunch of upcoming information sessions. Those change and get updated every month. So if you can't make an information session one month, always feel free to check in and you can drop in on another one. Alternatively, if you're not able to make a designated information session, but do want more information, whether it be on a program or just the application process, you can always reach out to either of us. We have our contact information at the end and we'll also put it in the chat. Or you can contact the department directly and they can always set up an alternative advising appointment with you to get you the information you need. Okay. All right, so kind of in complementary to what Odani was talking about in terms of credential programs, while there isn't a specific major you have to declare or get your degree in as an undergraduate, we do have suggested undergraduate majors. Basically, what this means is that the majors listed offer specific teacher pathways or waiver resources for you as students. So the suggested undergraduate majors provide you with the opportunity to waive some of the credential admissions requirements to get into a credential program. So like Orania stated, in order to get into a credential program, you have to meet certain admissions requirements. So that includes your GPA, your early field experience, background check, the CBEST, and the CSET. These undergraduate majors listed on the screen provides students at San Francisco State with subject matter waivers that allow you to waive the CSET exam. And that CSET exam is the subject-specific exam for the subject in which you wish to teach. So for example, for degree options for secondary education, you can see here the list of degrees that we offer students that have the subject matter waiver accompanying it. So for example, if you were majoring in art and you wanted to become an art teacher, you would be able to obtain the subject matter waiver for your art degree, which means you can waive the CSET exam for art. If you were majoring in biology and wanted to become a biology teacher, you would be eligible to waive the biology CSET and so on. For degree options for elementary education, we offer subject matter waivers in child and adolescent development, school age and family concentration, as well as for liberal studies. It's a little different from the secondary education majors since those are subject specific. Over in elementary education, what we offer is that we put students in a mixture of specific general education courses, major courses, and pathway courses that allow them to waive that subject matter exam. So you'd be able to waive the multiple subject CSET within these two majors. I believe Jamie, I'm gonna take a quick pause because Jamie Chan is here joining us. She's from the Center for Science and Math Education.
Oh, but Kim, I can go at the end too. I'm not trying to.
Oh, okay,
interrupt.
yeah.
I'll hang out the whole time.
Okay, perfect.
And I was just chatting with Marwan. He did have a question about how do you get early field experience.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, so those are the suggested undergraduate majors. Again, you don't have to have a specific bachelor's in science or bachelor in arts in order to go into teaching. If you hold a bachelor in arts in astronomy and then you want to go into teaching physical education, you can certainly do that. That's where those testing components kick in. But those are the options we have for subject matter waivers over at SF State. A little bit more about those teacher pathway resources. Here you can see it broken down in a little bit greater detail. So for elementary teacher education, we have the ETEP, which is the Elementary Teacher Preparation Plan. It's designed for students who will complete the elementary subject matter waiver at San Francisco State rather than take that CSET exam. That CSET exam is the subject-specific exam for the subject area you wish to teach. So that's designed for students who are majoring in liberal studies or CAD, who are interested in becoming elementary school teachers. We also offer bilingual authorization for the elementary education as well. So students are able to get an authorization added to their credential, which will allow you to teach in either Spanish, Mandarin, or Cantonese. And the pathway also allows students to begin taking credential courses during their senior year. For the subject matter competency waiver, it's for students who are interested in teaching a single subject in a middle school or high school. So if you're majoring in the specific subject you wish to teach, again, you can find those courses below. You can obtain the subject matter waiver and waive that CSET exam. So again, that's going to be designed for students who are interested in secondary school teaching, so middle school and high school, and for those interested in obtaining the competency through coursework versus the CSET exam. So some minors. So if you are interested in going into teaching and weren't exactly sure which avenue you wanted to go, but knew you were interested in going into the field of education, we do offer 2 undergraduate minors to kind of help facilitate that and get you thinking about what careers in education might be the best for you. So the first minor we offer is the education minor. It's a 12-unit minor and also fulfills the complementary studies for most undergraduate coursework. Within that minor, we offer courses that fulfill early fieldwork experience. We have available CSET test prep courses for the multiple subject credential. And you have unlimited double counting of requirements. So the classes you take in the minor can also count for your major, can also count for any other SF State requirements. The other minor that we have is the special education minor, and that's a 15-unit special education specific minor that offers exposure into the field of SPED, provides you with the opportunity to fulfill both the education minor and the SPED minor through advising. So you can actually fulfill 2 minors within one, which is a really great opportunity. Again, the special education minor is going to be more specific to SPED, while the education minor is a little bit more broad and general and pulls from a bunch of different subject areas. The great thing about SPED is that it also will fulfill your SF state and upper division requirements. So how do you prepare to get into a credential program? We threw a lot of information at you guys about what the requirements are, but here's kind of some proactive steps that we can really take in preparing for that. As you prepare to go into SF State or any other college or university, these are just some steps you can take as you begin to prepare to go into the field of teaching. So attending program events and orientations is a huge one. Workshops and orientations provide you with really important information you need, from program details to application process. We highly recommend you attend information sessions for the programs that you're interested in applying to. Attending events that typically provide scholarship opportunities. So looking into resources and financial opportunities for you is extremely important. At SF State, in the Graduate College of Education, we offer a number of scholarships available to credential, undergraduate, and graduate students. Meeting with your major or a teach advisor. So at SF State, we have an entire center at the Graduate College of Education that is dedicated to preparing students who are interested in going into the field of teaching education and speech language pathology. So if you ever have any questions regarding your education plan, how to become a teacher, what steps you need to take, what the process is like, please feel free to reach out. We're always willing and ready to answer any questions you may have. We're also capable and willing to create education plans with you. So as you transfer into SF State, you can meet with an advisor and we can set up an education plan to make sure that you are on track during your time at SF State to graduate and transition smoothly into a credential program. Additionally, you can explore requirements for your desired career and vocation. So start considering what makes someone a successful teacher or someone successful in the field of education. What are the requirements to enter into this field? What are available pathways to enter this field? And what can you start doing now at the undergraduate level to help prepare you for that? So yeah, so these are just some core resources and things to think about as you prepare to enter into the field of teaching and education. On the screen, you'll see a list of resources. You'll have access to this, so you'll be able to click on those clickable links. We have information from our Graduate College of Education, so you can explore and navigate just some of the different resources, credential and graduate programs that we offer. Our information session registration. So if you have more questions and want more information on upcoming info sessions, credential programs, graduate programs, you can find the dates and times and registration information there. For the elementary teacher preparation plan, if you have questions or interest in going into elementary school teaching, it's a great resource for you to get more information. And then our Teach Advising Hub. So any questions you have regarding advising or teacher preparation, you can always check out our website and connect with us. And then some additional resources on getting started on testing and the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. And that's basically it for that. Jamie, did you want to jump in and kind of
Sure.
chat with the students, and then we can go from there, and I'll just monitor the chat for now.
Yeah, sorry, I was very active in your chat. I
good.
took that one over, but I answered as much as I could. Denise is asking something about, like, because she has a degree in taxation and accounting and MS in taxation. She's wondering if like any of that can help her speed up a multiple subjects or single subject credential. Do you, Kim or Irania, do you have like an advice on that one?
Yeah, so I mean, having your bachelor's or BS in any degree is great. I would say that depending on what type of credential program or graduate program she wants to step into is really going to be what determines that. And we can always speak offline, Denise, if you want to ask like more specific questions, or I can go ahead and just respond in the chat. But yeah, it'll really end up potentially depending on which credential program or graduate pathway you want to enter.
And we will have time to answer some of the questions live too, so everyone can benefit from just hearing what other people want to know. And then so just right now, we just want to give the floor to Jamie, because she's going to talk to you about an amazing program. So Jamie.
Can I screen share, Kim or Urania? I have no access to that. If you, I think
Okay,
just
Yeah, let me go ahead.
are you doing it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we want to make sure that you have all the information and additional resources. So, you're ready to start and explore. Okay, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me time. I'll try to be really quick. So I'm from San Francisco State also. I apologize for coming late. I was in another webinar, and we are at the Center for Science and Math Education. So what we do is we help people strengthen their math and science teaching, even if you're a kindergarten through 5th grade teacher, or you're a single subject teacher in math and science. Or if you're thinking about doing it and you're an undergrad at State, we have a scholarship just for you to explore the idea of becoming a math or science teacher. No commitment, just get some experience in the classroom. I'll help you set up that experience. We give you a stipend for coming and joining the classroom and observing, and you can figure out how to get the support you need to get to the credential. And so that program is called the Teacher Fellowship. And again, our awards between $300 and $1,500 a semester. And what comes with that also is a whole community. We have 40 students in every cohort usually, and we talk about futures in teaching, all K through 12 grades, future grades teachers, and we have the financial commitment, as well as we give you support with exams. Did we talk about CBEST and CSET in this space, Kim? Or yeah,
Yes.
We did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see some nodding. And so we help pay for the CBEST and the CSET related to applying to our credential program. We also pay for the credential program application, and we continue to support you through the credential program. We have 4 meetings. They're on Zoom currently, and you just meet the other students and you learn about how to be a more conscious, socially just, and impactful practitioner or teacher. We also have another scholarship called the Noise Scholarship. So if you're really committed to social justice, you're thinking about coming back to being a teacher because you want to change the world and you want to address issues of equity and justice in our classrooms, we have the Noise Scholarship, and that is $14,000 a year for up to 2 years. And we do pay for 8 students to become future math or science teachers. It does come with a commitment to teach for 2 years, but it's a great program. We train you to really address issues of social justice and equity, and we take applications every spring, okay? And then we have a whole bunch of other opportunities. I won't take up too much space, but we have programs where we teach math to kids out of school, in school. We have conferences for math and science teachers. We also have a course that I teach that's out of the elementary education department. It's perfect for anybody who's interested in K-12 teaching. So whether you're going to be a middle school or high school teacher or K-5 teacher, we have kids, or we used to before COVID. So we'll probably have a distance version of it. We have little kids come to campus and you teach them the science. They wear these cute little lab coats and you learn to be comfortable with math and science and how to teach it to children. You do it in a group setting, and I help teach that course. It's a really great opportunity to just explore and see if this is the kind of place you want to be. And yeah, I think I'm going to stop there, but I'm happy to answer questions, and also just reach out if you have questions in general about the center where I work, the Center for Science and Math, and how we can help you.
Great. Thank you, Jamie. So now we are going to open it up for questions, comments. If you don't feel comfortable to, make a live, you can write it down in the chat. We will be answering the chat, or if you want to speak, just let us know, and I will unmute you. Either way. So Any questions so far?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm interested in becoming a special education teacher down the road. I'm still at City College, but I'm transferring over this spring to get my BA, and I've already applied for liberal studies for BA. I saw the pathways you were saying there. Is there a preference of if you have a liberal studies BA or the child development one to become a special education teacher?
So, like Kim said it before, you know, students come with different majors. Some majors seem to be more favorable and more popular. And then if you are already, I mean, ECE, like early childhood education and liberal studies are the most common ones. And that's okay. But if you also have interest for other majors, I think that the difference will be in terms of, you know, just preparing for the CSETs. Sometimes, depending on the area, you know, one major might help more than others, but it doesn't necessarily, like, you don't get more preference because you just need a bachelor's. And then, so you're not going to get extra points in your admission process if you are one major over the other. So, Jamie or Kim, do you want to add more to it?
What was the question again? I apologize. I was answering a text in the chat.
Oh, just in terms of, doesn't matter what major, in terms of for special ed, or that was the question, right?
Oh yeah, no, I don't think so, because I've seen many people out of the school district, because my children go to school in SFUSD and my partner teaches there. You know, people come from so many different backgrounds into SPED. I think you just need to get yourself in the pathway, you know, and Kim and Your Honor will set you up for that. It's a wonderful area to study.
May I clarify one more thing? So my question was is because I'm going to be going there in the spring, would it be more beneficial to me as a teacher going forward to become a special education teacher to do liberal studies BA or the child development?
Oh,
as a
I see.
teacher?
Okay. Liberal studies versus child and adolescent development. Does anyone?
I think it would depend on the age group. So if you're looking at doing SPED for early childhood education, then I would say early childhood education in the CAD department could be more beneficial. If you're unsure of kind of what age demographic, but you want more of a general, you know, education that will be a little bit more broad in terms of like age demographic and subject, then I think liberal studies would be the great opportunity for that. I think it'll ultimately kind of depend on which age group. So again, if you're thinking early childhood or school age learners, then CAD could be the route for you. If you're unsure of what age or might want to work with older students, then liberal studies could potentially be the better pathway. Odania, did you want to talk about early field experience? I know there were a few questions on that.
Fantastic. You know, early field experience will depend it will depend on different factors. One is, where do you want to do your early field experience? Because if you're doing it in the San Francisco Unified District, there's a specific guidelines of the way that how we do it, and we do at San Francisco State, we do it through this CCI. Now I'm confused. As the Center for Community and Engagement, and then you will have to, you know, attend an orientation. And what they do is they already have a system with the San Francisco Unified District to do a placement. Oftentimes, and it depends on where you, like what district and where you live. Oftentimes people do contact their school, and they ask the principals or the districts within their area. Like if you're in San Mateo County, there's so many, I mean, there's different districts. The most important thing is knowing where specifically, what level specifically you want to teach, because oftentimes I've seen a lot of students who want to do early field experience and they have high school experience. They do their early field experience in high school, but they're applying to a multiple subject. And then oftentimes those hours don't necessarily count towards the early field experience. So a couple suggestions. One is if you are in the Bay Area, if you are in the San Francisco Unified Districts, if you want to do your early field experience in the San Francisco Unified School District, contact us and we will direct you and indicate the process. Also, if you're attending City College, San Francisco City College, they also have a system within their teacher preparation center that will walk you through. If you want to do a specific areas of early field experience, but you're not in in the district, San Francisco Unified District, oftentimes contacting the district within the city will be the best bet. But also the other way that students do it is that they usually go back to the schools where they graduated from or that they attended, or if they know a teacher. Let me just say that early field experience, because there's a lot of confusion oftentimes where, what do I do in early field experience? The idea with early field experience is, are you getting into the right teaching pathway? You're not going to be expected to teach. You're not going to be expected to do grading or any activity. Basically, early field experience is you find a classroom at the age level that you want to teach, and you observe. You look at how the instructors, how do they do time, class management. In some cases, depending on the instructor, you might be a little bit more engaging, but it's really up to the instructor. But for the most part, the idea is this the setting that I want to get into in the future? Is this the right place? So, and then when you are ready to apply for the credential program, there is a form where you have to get those hours signed off. Also, and this is something that we didn't mention before, oftentimes, since you're going to spend 45 hours, at least 45 hours with a instructor, with a teacher, oftentimes they want a letter of recommendation, one of the letters of recommendation when you're applying to the program that comes from that instructor to say, yeah, because they want to, they could say, yeah, I noticed this person was really engaging or was very attentive, so, but there is not one specific way to do early field experience at all locations. Did that answer your question? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kathleen Y coming in. Kathleen, are you here? Or did you leave?
I am here.
Quick question.
Yes.
I'm gonna involve you since she's the queen. For early field experience, one of the questions is how do they go about? And I was just explaining if they are at in San Francisco Unified, there is a system in place. But what recommendations would you say for other students?
You can, well, for many of the colleges in our area, some of our programs use work experience, so they can get credit for the work they're doing in the classrooms. And at City College, we have supervised field work. So they're earning units while they're doing their early field work. I would say wherever you can, if you are a student, try to do either something with credit, so work experience, cooperative education for your early field experience. That way it's on your transcripts and you can kind of remember who your teacher was and you have documentation. Sometimes you try to get letters saying, oh, I did early field experience, and then 2 years pass and you forgot who the teacher was. But there it is on your transcripts. If you don't have that, most school districts do have a volunteer center and you can, volunteer, but just be aware you have to do all those clearances, the fingerprinting, the TB testing, and that's what we try to guide our students through. Right now, though, now that it's virtual, a little bit different.
And also, if you are applying within, this semester or next semester, the Commission for Teaching Credential has waived the early field experience, which means that you don't have to have it at the time that you apply. So that's if you're already have your bachelor's and you're looking into applying, or if you already started the application process, that's one of the things that is happening because it's been challenging with COVID. People cannot go into the schools. So,
Urania, when do they need to complete the 45 hours if it's being waived for entry into the credential program? Like, is there a deadline for that?
So there's not a deadline yet. Or I'm pretty sure that there's not a deadline that will have to complete it. Once because they're gonna be doing their student teaching. So right now it's a wave, but they haven't indicated if there's in a specific day that they have to complete it. And then most likely most of the schools are going remotely from, next semester. So we still do not know.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And then, even if you're not ready to apply, but you're still interested and want to have one-on-one and want to explore, we will be, Kim and I will be happy to, set up appointments and meet with you. I know that sometimes you're planning ahead and that's always good. Okay, so there's a good question by on the chat, and this is the reality for many of our students. If you give me a second, the question is, what about if you already have a bachelor's from a foreign country? So that will be fine, but you will need, it's just additional steps because you will need to get that the bachelor's accredited. It's not accredited. You will need to get it certified and approved by the university that you will be attending. So it's a little bit of a longer process. But then the university has during admissions, they have a way to evaluate once, you will need to go through just making sure that you have the documents are the original and they're certified. and the university will evaluate them and then will give you credit or will actually grant you the degree. And then you can apply. So I don't know if that answer your question, because I know that oftentimes we have a lot of students who already have foreign degrees, and uh, and oftentimes, you know, they were teachers in their country, and right now it's just a matter of getting that the validation in the process. But now it used to be that you would have to send your foreign degree to a private agency and then get it translated and certified and all of that. Now the universities will assess it and evaluate it, and then they will let you know how much credit. And it also has to be depending on what university or the university that you obtained it from. Was it a private? Was it an accredited university? So once they see the agreement that they have with that foreign university, then they will be able to um, help you in terms of evaluating that foreign degree. So do we have any other questions? Questions, comments?
I know we had a few, quite a number of questions on scholarship opportunities and CBEST and CSET resources. So I put them in the chat. The link to our GCOE scholarships is for undergraduate, graduate, and credential students. You can feel free to access those and look through those. And then I also put in the link for our CBEST and CSET resource guide. Typically, we offer free test prep material through our Cahill Resource Lab, which is also that individual study space that we have in our college. However, because the university is currently closed and we're working and learning remotely, Cahill is also closed for the time being, but you can access the document and get access to online test prep material for free through that. Just since I know that there were quite a few questions about that, just wanted to make that announcement.
Thank you. So one of the things that I always tell students is like create a timeline for yourself. There are things that if you're already a student at San Francisco State, because I noted that some of you are, you know, it's just timing yourself, preparing. Do not wait until you finish your bachelor's to apply for a credential, because oftentimes, you know, that you can do a lot before you graduate, like your CSETs, your CBEST. You can either start preparing for them or you can start taking them before you finish your bachelor's while it's still fresh. In terms of scholarships, the what Kim was saying is correct. There are a lot of different scholarships. There are also a lot of fellowships and then different programs. Some of them, like Jamie said, they will ask you to commit to teach after you finish the program. There's there's several grants that you could get. But one of the things that I notice, and I tell the students all the time, is that oftentimes we self-disqualify ourselves without even applying. And then I know that in the scholarships and within our college, oftentimes students do not apply. And yes, I know it takes a little bit of work. Yes, sometimes, they ask you for an essay, but look at it as an investment, because if you spend 2 hours and you get $1,000, those 2 hours just gave you, like $500 per hour. So apply, look around. I know that we have several scholarships in our college that every year the money goes back because the students are not applying. So right now is the time, like do a list, like what are some of the scholarships that I can apply? What are some of the programs that I can take, that will help me? If you're going right now, if you're going into the STEM field, like Jimmy said, there are different opportunities, and you get to not only just go to school, but then engage and get an early field uh, experience with its students, and it's really rewarding. So planning is definitely going to make a difference. So just keep thinking deadlines. What do I need to do? Have a checklist. What are some of the areas where you can uh, just scratch out of your list, and which ones do you need to concentrate? Like for me, one of the areas was I'm not good at standardized testing. So it was like, okay, so what do I need to do? I need to look for resources, online, paper, and maybe take a refresher course for math, because that's, and then it really helped.
Can I add to that, Ironia? That you don't need to have a degree in math or science to become a math or science teacher. You just need to fulfill the subject matter requirements. And as emphasis, I was an art student. I studied film for several years before I became a biologist. You can come from a different space, and if you are interested at all in math or science, you may want to reach out to me and just talk about different career options. That's all.
Any questions? Any final comments? Great. You can still put your questions in the chat, and one of the things that I always say it, and I should, I usually say it at the beginning, is that the profession of teaching it's a great one. Yes, you hear all this bad rap, and yes, there are some facts that are, teachers might be underpay, or all these different things that we often hear. But the reality is that the other fields will not exist if you didn't have teachers. And this is one of the areas where there's always going to be a need for teachers, because as long as we have public schools, it you will have a job. And the one thing that I also say is that if you're going into the teaching field, it also has to be because you're passionate about, uh, I often tell the students, and I know that sometimes uh, not everyone wants to hear it, but if you do not care for kids, maybe this is not the field for you. Honestly, but if you care and you want to make a difference, I always think of the best teachers I have and how they influence my life, and then so that's something that you you have to look inside you and say, yes, I want to do this. No, it's not going to be easy, but not no, it. I mean, if it was easy, then everybody will do it. But no, teachers are special people, and we do things that change people's life. So I just want to put that out there. I always say that because it is true. And then you do not need to be, if you speak a different language, if you don't have to be expert in your language. because I used to think that to be a bilingual teacher, I needed to be perfect in English and Spanish. And you don't, as long as you care and you're going to be trained, you're going to have the information the same way. If you want to be a biologist, a biology teacher, you don't have to have your major as biology. As long as you're passionate and curious and are willing to learn, and that's something that will also help. So think about the students, and if you're planning to stay in the state of California, and our schools are very diverse, and we need to teachers need to be reflected of the students that we serve. So that's another thing that I also say, like, can how many of us can think back of our early education and say, yeah, I had teachers that looked like me, that spoke the same language of me, that care about people like me. So with that, I'm just going to close because I can go on and on. So Kim, do you have any last comments? Yeah.
Thank you guys all for joining us. You guys have had really great questions in the chat. Hopefully Jamie and I have gotten through most of them. Jamie, thanks so much for being so great. And on top of that, if you guys have any further questions, do not hesitate to reach out. We really do want to help answer any questions you have along the way. So please, please, please feel free to email us any questions or concerns or clarifications you have along the way. I'll go ahead and I'll put mine and Orania's contact, and I believe Jamie has put hers in there as well. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Well, if we do not have any questions, I'm going to give some time for you to copy our emails. And thank you, Jamie. Thank you, all of you, for attending. You have friends at San Francisco State. So if you want additional information, if you just, want to hear more, shoot us an email, and we will be happy to get back to you.
Orania, can you confirm we're gonna email this presentation out?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
cool.
We will be emailing that presentation as well.
Thank you for having me. And I enjoy seeing Raina MH's little buddy there visiting us too.
I know.
That's the reason why we are teachers, right? Because of the children that we were or are or have. I have two myself. So it's nice to see faces. All right, take care. I'm going to have to go to another meeting, but
Okay.
Thank you, Yorania and Kim. Bye-bye.
Bye. Enjoy the rest of the conference. There's some good workshops up there.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hello? Yes, I didn't really want to be recorded when I was asking, because I actually wasn't able to be part of the whole meeting. But I'm glad you're going to have it recorded and you're going to send it. Everyone's going to get it?
Yes.
Okay, great. And I just have a question. I do have a BA, but and I'm an infant toddler teacher, and I have one more class to get a major in child development at City College. But I was wondering, what are steps for getting a master's in early childhood development?
So you will not be applying for the credentials, you will be applying for the master's, right?
Yeah.
We can look up the website for the master's, in
Mhm.
early?
Yeah, Amelia, I can put it in the, I can put the link in the
Okay.
chat.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because I will, I'm not familiar, since you already have a bachelor's, it will be just a matter of looking at their deadlines, and
Uh,
I'm not too familiar, to be quite honest, for the master's program. I do not know what else they require.
Yeah, I just put the link. I'm kind of perusing through it, but it has all of the required coursework information, the
Uh-huh.
application deadline, and then if you go to like application information, it'll give you the list of all of the program requirements as well. So it says elementary teaching credential or completion of a minimum of 12 units in professional course relevant to ECE, your BA. You know, and I'm assuming it doesn't have to be like specific in ECE, but it looks like that is preferred. So it gives all of that information as well as the application requirements. So if you just save on the link, because once we exit that, it'll just delete it. But that will
Okay.
have all of the requirements and information you need.
Okay, and is it just one particular program, like Masters in Early Childhood
Yes.
Development, or is it, okay, I didn't know if
Yeah.
it was defined in different areas.
Yeah, it's an MA in early childhood education.
Okay, good, great. MA in Early Childhood Education.
Yes.
Well, that's great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
I just didn't want to, because I'm sorry, I wasn't able to, I was working, I wasn't able to be part of the beginning. So I didn't
yeah.
want, if you're answering the question already, I didn't want to ask it when you maybe have already, confronted
Oh
what
no,
I
you're
asked.
totally good.
No,
Yeah,
that was,
a great question.
yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, of course. And Jennifer, you're still in there? Did you have a question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I
Oh,
unmute it? Yay, I did. I'm not very tech savvy. I was just making sure that I stuck around because sometimes people ask things that you never thought of. You're like, oh, wait, yeah, I should know that. So, Amelia, you kind of said a few things that made me curious. I don't know if I ask you guys this. I know sometimes you can work on your I'm still down the road from going this. I need to get my bachelor's and all that jazz. But to get your please, Jenny, think of your question. Get your master's and credential like at the same time, or I've heard of some situations where when you work towards your master's, it also overlaps some of the classes with the credential kind
mhm. Yeah,
of.
we do have a couple of dual programs. So for elementary education, we have the multiple subject credential plus the MA in education. And then if you're looking at like secondary education, we also, I believe, offer it for our single subjects as well. It's also a master's of education. And I believe if you're looking at STEM, there is a master's of math and a master's of something else that is escaping me, but there are dual programs for both of those. So yeah, so I mean, the way that it works is you would essentially apply to the dual program, which means in your first year, your first 2 years, depending on how if you do full-time, part-time, you do your credential program, and then you just transition straight into the MA. So think about it as if you finished your last semester of your credential program in the summer of 2021, you start your MA the fall of 2021. So you just kind of transition straight into it, and you can transfer 12 units of your credential coursework into your master's program. So it only leaves you with, I want to say, like 5 or 6 courses you end up having to complete for the MA. And that's typically completed in a year because it is a part-time program. I believe you might be able to complete it sooner if you take on more courses, but I think that might kind of just depend. Did that answer your question? Sorry, I think I might
Yeah,
have.
and Jennifer, one of the so there are, like Kim was saying, there are dual programs. Oftentimes you have to so you will be enrolled within the credential first, and then some of the classes are are for both programs. I mean, it's the same course, so you won't be repeating additional course like introductions or different philosophies courses. And a lot of the students do that because in some districts, your starting salary is higher if you have a master's. And then, but also a lot of students just finish the bachelor's and start teaching, and then they come back for the master's. So either way, you can do both the Credential Plus Master's program. And depending on how many classes you can or can afford to take, that will make a difference in terms of how long does it take.
I have a question. Since we're bringing up these dual programs and whatnot, getting your MA in the early childhood development, is it a requirement to get a credential?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Getting your MA in early childhood development, do you need to get a credential?
If you're going into a public K, like TK through 12, you'll still need a credential regardless. So even if you hold an MA in early childhood or have been in it for 30, 40, 50 years and have a PhD, to be in a K through 12, you still have to.
Oh, no, I'm talking about for early, because early childhood development, I'm thinking of, 0 to, 6 for early childhood development. That's for the master's, early childhood development is for the younger children. So I'm wondering, I don't think you need a credential,
Gotcha.
but are you in the program there? Is that required to get your master's?
Gotcha. For the
early childhood development?
No, for the MA in early childhood, you can have a credential or a minimum of 12 units of ECE credits.
Oh, either or. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you don't have to have a credential. Oftentimes, if you're getting into the Masters of Early Childhood, they want some background. That's why they said some units, but the credential is not requirement. It's not required.
You're right. To get your master's, you don't need the credential to actually have the master's in early childhood. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right.
I just want to say thank you to you guys for all the time and effort and everything, because I know you guys do a lot of work, I'm sure, especially with all this. So I just want to say thank you.
No, thank you for attending.
Yeah, that was nice of you to thank them, because we've gotten so busy where people don't even do that anymore. I feel like, we had to be thankful for the small things, because things have been so hard just with the COVID, and, we just need to really appreciate what we're given. I mean, to have this, virtual, workshop where we don't have to go anywhere and we're getting all this information is really nice. So good can come out of bad.
Yes. We're all on this together, and we're trying our best. So even remotely, it would have been much exciting to see people in person and interact. But I'm glad that the conference is going well, and we have the opportunity to do this. So
thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop out, but I just want to say thank you one last time.
Thank you guys so much, and thanks for your great questions. And again, if you have any more questions that pop up, definitely feel free to reach back out to us.
Yes, and we will be sending more information, and I believe we'll be sending some certificates as well.
Okay, great.
Okay, so enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Check those workshops because they're really amazing.
And then when are you all going to send the links? Just curious, for the recording.
I will let you know probably within this week.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so
All right.
have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.